Today it's Swanda, and I've got to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of common courtesy with respect? You know, it's one of those things that we go through and we take for granted, or we used to. When you were at the store, you said please and thank you to the people who helped you. You said excuse me when you walked past people. We even did something silly like say, have a nice day. And I have to wonder where that time has gone. And it's not been just the last 4 years, if anybody wants to try to politicize this, because it's not about politics. In fact, I have to keep screaming to people in my inside voice and explain to them as politely as I can in my outside voice that everything is not about politics. I'm going to repeat this a time and time and time again. Politics is the lowest form of social and spiritual discourse. So what I'm telling you is that when we use our words, we've gotten kind of lazy. We've got memes out there that say, hey, if you cuss, you're really intelligent. I'm brilliant. I have a potty mouth because I let my own common courtesy with respect go. And that common courtesy is toward me. And it affects me spiritually. And I think it's starting to affect the world. We've gotten lazy. We've gotten where our communication is triggered by thoughts of desire and anger. We desire to have a conversation and somebody else is angry. Or they desire to have a conversation and we're angry. And we're not supposed to be. So what does that look like? Communication. Remember that statement? Communication is key. I can't tell you how frustrating it is sometimes to be around people who don't communicate. They're not telling you that they have hurt inside them. They're not telling you that they have happiness. We just automatically assume, hi Bonnie, we automatically assume that we know what other people are thinking. We automatically assume that they are doing for them what they need to do. And yet we're upset because what they're doing goes against what we had planned because there was no communication. I'll give you an example. I separate my stuff out very clearly. I have everything exactly where I need it to be. I've done this because I have really bad ADHD. So when my kids used to screw with me all the time, they would move my stuff around because it was kind of funny to watch me go bonkers looking for stuff. And I did. I was like, oh my God, where's this? I got to have this for work. Oh my God. And they would be laughing. Hi, Bernadette. So it was frustrating because they would objectively decide where I needed to have my stuff. And I had a relationship that did that one too many times. And then we quit having the relationship because there was no conversation. There was just a decision that person made to move my stuff instead of having a conversation. So we've really lost the art of conversation. We've also lost the art of things because they thought that my life needed stirring up. And they weren't either because we weren't going to communicate. Really sick. And I won't say who, And I said, do you realize that if something should happen, the only two people who are going to remember this conversation is going to be you and I. And if one of us goes, then the other one's the only one left to have the conversation. And that's what's really important is our gift to our future generations. Our awareness, our willingness to share our experiences, our joys, our accomplishments, how we do things. That's really a powerful thing. We change our world with the light we bring to it. So as we change that light, we start looking at what's really of major importance. And what's important is to remember those thought-provoking moments that change us so that we can share them with other people, so that we can make a difference. You know, the hardest thing about it is that a lot of people share out of frustration. It's called a rant. God, does Swanda know that? That's why it's wicked and nice diva. You know, wicked, because I can rant. I get very passionate, very frustrating. So what is the difference? I'm going to tell you, give you a little short story. After my mom died, I was in a lot of grief. And I was explaining to this woman about my grief. But the other woman she worked with didn't know that. She just decided I was angry. And she saw my pain as anger. Well, they often say what's in you, you'll see in other people. Well, what does that tell you? I saw grief. I thought she was a nice person. She saw anger in me. Absolutely. Part of anger, part of grief is anger. Absolutely. And we do need to associate the difference. And we need to express ourselves in a more articulate way. My dad used his words all the time. Oh my God, that man lectured us kids all the time. It was a standing joke. My father smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day. He outlived all his sisters. They had called the priest in on him like 3 times or 4 times before he died, or before he was 10. And then when he died, he was volatile with his words, and he would lecture us for hours. So it was a standing joke between us siblings. Yeah, my dad's going to live forever because evil never dies. And it was horrible because he would tell us how horrible we weren't doing right, and lecture us about how we had to do better and how we were nothing if we weren't married. It was brutal, brutal. And he used his words to the effect that it really had adverse reactions to us as kids. We all grew up differently, seeking different strengths in our lives and different ways to walk our path. I'm really glad it's the life I chose and the way I chose to walk it. But his tone was so intimidating. His tone was excruciating. So instead of coming out passionate, I'm worried about you kids. You're not doing good in school. I'm worried about you because you stayed out too late. You know, you have to get up to go to work in the morning. Instead of using those words as a caring tool, we were beat unmercifully with them. So to share a little bit of that tone, let's look at something as simple as saying, bless your heart. Now I can say, well, bless your heart. You poor thing. You doing okay? Or I can say, well, bless your heart. So you know by the tone and the way I deliver it, how it's going to come across to you. And it's going to come across as a tool for comfort, or it's going to come across as a tool for sarcasm. How many of you are tired of the sarcasm lately? How many of you are tired of the name calling? How many of you are tired of the justification for rudeness? How many are tired of people attacking for no reason? People who believe the same or differently, doesn't matter, just attacking. We're not using our words to uplift the spirit. We're using our words to get our point across and to judge. We're using our words to make manifest a future. Now remember that as we think, we put our energy into the collective consciousness, and we make those things happen. So if your fear is that you're going to be poor, you put that in the collective consciousness. So you're going to be in the collective consciousness creating more poor, more fear than anybody else. And at the same time, that fear gathers a lot of energy, so it clings to other people. So guess what happens to the world? Well, we could be looking at a world depression because we're all living in fear of lack. What if we started throwing out the joy of abundance? What if we just knew we were at peace with every possible outcome of health and happiness? It is extremely difficult, I think, to look at somebody who's railing against the system. And believe me, my own family has been telling me things. It's quite hysterical. You know, I have a sibling who told me that old people who are about to die should just die so the rest of everybody can get back to work. I said, go tell your grandma. Go ahead. Let her feel that pain. And we don't mean it, but we're expressing these things out of frustration. But those words carry energy, and those words carry pain that's striking each other's heart. So instead of saying, gosh, I love you and I think that you're amazing and you're going to get through this and we're going to have fun doing it, everybody's going, well, this person's wrong for this and this person should be doing that. And oh, how dare they? We should hang this person. We should shoot that person. We ought to fire that person. We're going to come back at this person. Why? I would love for anybody, type in the comments, I'll read it. Give me one good reason we should be talking negative. What good does it do? Give me one good reason it does good. Hi, Brother Francis. I'm glad you got here. Because it doesn't. I can't come up with one. If I would love to see one good reason for being negative, nasty, controlling, and hate-filled toward another person, with our words, with our actions, and with our deeds. Because that's no way to live spiritually. It doesn't leave us peace. It gets us sick. We're in dis-ease. We're in unwillingness to cooperate, and we create lack in our life. Absolutely. You know, the written word is just as dangerous. When you write something and you write it in anger, it's going to come across as anger. And you lose, people lose respect for you. You lose such valuable opportunities to make somebody else's life better. So you need to figure out for yourself, do I want to be on the side of righteous indignation or gentle loving, peaceful existence, spiritual awakening? This is what this energy is all about. This is the dividing line. We've talked about before how back in the 60s, we already went through all of this. And somebody says, why do we have to go through it again? We didn't complete it. We suppressed it. We didn't go all the way for spiritual awakening. We stopped it out of fear, just like we're getting ready to do again. So as spiritual light workers, it's our turn to light the world. It's our job. It's our opportunity to make it different for somebody else. We have seen narcissism take a whole new level of ick. Narcissists used to be really charming. They were so amazing. A narcissist would find out everything about you so that they knew what tripped your trigger, so they could work you like you were a Stradivarius, so that they could play you like a piano. And we didn't realize it because they were doing it in gentleness and ease. Now we see a bunch of spiritual narcissists grabbing their banners up, decreeing that they are fighting for God and country. and not for each other, and not in support, but in agony. And they're going to get their point across because they're going to be right. Because, a narcissist always has to be seen. So they can either be seen as charming and peaceful, or they can be seen as negative and attacking. Our voices are heard by the way we deliver them. And there's a lot of people who are misfits out there. We have a lot of people who are struggling, trying to find their ground. Maybe they're not with their families. Maybe they're alone way too long. They don't get to socialize. Maybe they don't get the relationship they would like to have. Believe me, I've had those narcissist relationships. I had one that was so intense that he became addicted to Facebook to feed his narcissism. What a shame. Because he was one of the most beautiful spirits in the world. But he went down that anger zone. And it's okay, because we're all trying to find our power. We're all trying to find our way of being. So how do we do that? Well, we quit using our words to manipulate. Nothing that I'm saying here is anything that you all don't already know. You know this. But how come you get sucked in? How many times have you gone down your Facebook feed and seen all the anger just coming at each other? The nasty posts justifying their belief system. Seen it? I have. I don't go down the news feed anymore. So a lot of you probably are like, well, Michelle's never on Facebook except when she has to work. Absolutely, you're right. Not. Because I don't want to listen to the anger. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I'm doing my work peacefully. I'm trying to move forward, and I want to make a change for everybody that cares. Everybody who's in Resonant Essentials, the group. Everybody who walks through the doors here. I want to make that light bright so that you have a safe place to come to love and be loved. I want you guys to feel like you have your power. I want you to come get regenerated with us. That's my goal. And I can't do it if I'm constantly being drugged down by people who are constantly yelling about how the world is wrong and they're the only ones that are right. I can't do that. So we have to really try to quit using our words to manipulate, control, express negative, and allow the victimhood to continue. If they want to stay in victimhood, love them, let them. Let them. This is the wicked part of nice diva coming out. Let them. Because you know what? You're codependencing them otherwise. You're helping them stay in victimhood. Let them suffer the ramifications of their own actions. Let them drop down to the very pits of hell if that's what they want to do. Because that's the only way they're going to say, you know what? I don't like being down here and I want to join every one of you guys up in the light. I want to work with people who are happy all the time, who are grabbing their joy, who are expressing an active existence, who are healthy and happy and connected and loving each other. But they can't if you don't let them fall all the way down. Use your words in compassion. Give them strength. You can do it. I believe in you. Look at them. Don't look at them in sympathy or empathy. That doesn't do any good. Give them compassion. There, but for the grace of the universe, go I. Yeah. Because we're looking at a time where people are so broken and so afraid that they need our compassion. And it won't switch if we don't give them compassion. If we give them the ability to be victims, sympathy, oh, you poor thing, then that lets them stay there. If we go, what the heck's wrong with you, idiot, then we've addressed them with the anger that they want so that they can justify their anger and their actions. So give them compassion. Love them. It's hard. Give them thought-provoking energy. Give it in kindness. Be gentle. And leave those alone who absolutely refuse to change the way they talk through their hate. Because if they're posting hate, if they're posting conflict, then they need it. They want it and they're thriving off of it. They're getting something out of it. But do you want what they have? Do you want people that are so angry in your world that they're liking all the angry posts that somebody else is creating? It's pathetic, really, because they're not light workers. They're angry. They're broken. They could be light workers, and hopefully they will be, but only through our compassion, our love, and our generosity. And if, for God forbid, we have done things that have hurt people by our words, we need to correct that, even if it's calling them up and saying, you know what, I was a real ass. Absolutely, I'm sorry that came out, and I'm sorry it was wrong. I need to change that. I need to make myself better. Because if you don't make amends, that's the whole point of amends, then you live in fear of confronting that one person that you offended. And when you live in fear, guess what? You get more fear. Fear, fear, more fear. You know, Louise Hayes talks about the body. Kidneys are fear. Lungs are grief. Lungs are, I don't want to live here anymore. We will, through our negative experience, create imbalances within our body structure at a time we need to be meditating, praying, pulling together, joining in unification, and living free. Sinus, anger. Yeah, I've been fighting a sinus headache. And I had to sit down and really do some meditation as to what I was so angry about. And then I had to realize it wasn't anybody else. It was me. I felt like I was inert. Nothing was moving. Because guess what? I wasn't moving. My consciousness doesn't move if I don't move. Take a look. Love yourself. Stand by yourself. Let everybody who wants to be in hate be there. Walk away. You don't have to engage it. You don't have to feel for it. Walk away. Disassociate from those people who will bring you the negative experience, because it will hurt you. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, psychically, it will hurt. And this is the time. This is our year. 2021 is the beginning of light. And it's our job to build that energy, and it's our job to build that light and go upward. Think about it. My heart to yours. Mwah. I love all of you guys. You're wonderful. You're the most beautiful spirits out there. I know it's a really tough time and we're all alone, but we're alone together and we're connected through spirit. I love all of you. Bye now.